You're not seeing my laptop, was you?
Huh?
You see my laptop?
Yeah, I can't see you.
Yeah.
Anyway, holler anytime you need something. Good. You get all over state. I get that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't open them, so.
Early in the morning.
I got it. I know what you're talking about. Please.
I always just wait for them to repair, so.
My dad's turning over to the bank and that's all right.
I'm gonna call the meeting. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Rhonda Gimpy. Christina Smith. Crystal Wilson. Mary Jowers. Here. Scott Layfield.
Here.
Just had time to look at the minutes from last meeting. So we need to get approval of the agenda first, and right off I need to add finance council executive session. Probably put that in at 10 after 10.
Okay.
Yes, executive session. I'd like to get approval of the agenda with the addition.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll second, sorry, Crystal, we're just approving the agenda that I added executive session. Okay. So, so all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Approval of the consent agenda. Approval of minutes of last month's meeting, of warrant, payroll, and the May financial statements.
Minutes, warrants, payroll, and May financial.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And we'll move on to the public forum. After.
At this time, the public will be recognized. Each person seeking to address the council will be recognized for a maximum of 2 minutes. You must provide your first and last name, your city of residence, and the topic of discussion before beginning. After you have spoken, you may exit at any time, or you may quietly observe the remainder of the meeting.
Anybody want to address the public forum? Okay, well, we're going to move on to Lloyd Group budget.
Okay, perfect. Okay, exciting times. Isn't it? But are you guys excited?
Well, it's good to know where we're at.
Okay, so I think everybody got a copy. You got one there somewhere, right there. No, right?
Oh, this thing?
Yeah. And everybody over there, okay. So what this front sheet is kind of like a highlight. The circled number is the assessed value, but it's the same as last year because the McPherson County clerk doesn't have the numbers finalized. They don't have to have them finalized for the estimated value until June 15th. So real close, today's 11th. So, but anyway, what I'll do when we finally get those numbers, I will update this sheet and send it to Morgan, and then you can kind of see, because that's the key. If you remember how 1 mil works, you go 3 decimal points to the left. So 1 mil last year was $5,047, okay? So whatever that new number is for assessed value, let's just say it does go up a little bit, and you pick up dollars for every mil that you levy. Everybody understand that? So that's kind of that's kind of the point of where, we're going to have to add more dollars or not, because not so much in cities, but in counties right now, for sure, the assessed values are going down because farmlands went down. Now, housing, if you look at the real estate there, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, but it tells you a lot about your city. So like if the real estate on that first line, 4.481 million, if that changes in 27 and goes up by 5%, then you potentially will pick up, your mill levy will go above 5,047, okay? And that's pretty typical right now. Real estate seems to still be climbing a little bit based on what people are paying for property. The second part of the front page is what I was telling you when I was here for the audit report. I have this kind of thing I've done for 25 years. Grandma and Grandpa told me, if you got 3 to 6 months of reserves and you're setting pretty good personally. Well, I started applying that to mainly cities and counties, and that's what this next rectangle is down here. And I'll just go through one of them to show you how it works. So the general fund, you spent $723,693 in that first line there last year. That was in 2025. You divide by 12 and you get 60,308. You see those numbers? Okay. Take it times 6, which is 6 months. And another way to look at that, if you look at national averages, they say you should have 25% fund balance, they call it, because it's GAAP. But in Kansas, it's called unencumbered cash. You should have 25%. Well, that would be 3 months. And 6 months would be 50%, which is a higher percentage, but you just never know in the general fund if you're not going to need that money. And I'll show you when I get to the general fund kind of what's happened. But if you have 6 months, then the general fund literally could pay for any expenditure in the city. So that's why we always want the general fund to be at least 6 months to keep healthy. So if you look at that, the ideal reserve, that next column would be 361,847, and you've got 399,992. So that's what there's handwritten numbers in there. You've got 6.63 months in the general fund, and every one of those funds there, you've got more than the 6 months. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so that's a good thing. And then differences of the dollars is in that very right hand. So that's kind of a way that every year we started putting this summary sheet on here so that you can go back and look at last year's, if you have it still, and it kind of gives you an idea of where you've been and where you're going. Okay? Galva is the same way. We were just talking water projects here, because he's working on a water project over there too, and just the different balances between the cities. Not just Galva and Canton, but all cities. That's something to really monitor and make sure you have enough cash. Okay? You go to page, I'm not going to, let's see, maybe one view. If you look on page 3, this is what's called motor vehicle. And I'm not going to say a lot about it, but the circled number there is the levy from last year's levy. See, this year's will be 26's levy for the 27 budget. Motor vehicle is always 1 year behind the rest of the budget, okay? And that's how you divide those numbers to the right of there based on the levy from last year. And each fund, which you only have the one levy fund, general fund, will get that share of the motor vehicle, recreational vehicle, and see watercraft is 0. There's a lot of numbers that dropped off this year. I think golf carts and watercraft and some of those. I heard a Wilson County, Wilson, not county, but Wilson Lake, they took that one to the nth degree. They have a $150,000 houseboat, and it got exempted from all taxes. That's a good one. You see, because watercraft, so they live on the lake. Isn't that crazy? And the rest of us have to pay. The next page, page 4, these are transfers that have been probably the same as last year. So that's where, Morgan, if you kind of look at that and see if there's anything that, and we'll look more at that. But the thing to remember about the transfers, you can have them listed here like this in the budget, but when you actually get to 27, as long as you don't go over budget authority in each of the funds, you can change those transfers. So it's not like you're locked in. So if you need a little more in one fund or you need something to cover, we can change it. But that's the transfer schedule. Page 5 is the debt. And even though this debt is not all mill levy debt, I always look at it this way. So down at the bottom there, in 26 and 27, I took the total expenditures and divided by 1 mil as of last year's 1 mil, okay? But you can see that just in debt, 26 is 13.29 mils, and 27 is 16.16 mils. Now, a couple of those are water debt. So they're going to be based on what you charge your rates. But I still do it this way because in a city, you kind of have like these, it's like a puzzle, these moving pieces. So if the water fund is running low, you may have to raise your rates, but if you don't have enough money, you may have to cover some of the expenses with mill levy money. You see what I'm saying? So it's just something we look at. And then I believe, is the GO bond 26A that came on here March of 26, is that street or what is it? What?
Sewer.
That's sewer. Okay. I didn't know what that one was. Okay, so the sewer fund would be paying for that. Okay, perfect. Any questions on that? I'm just going through here, and this is kind of, you're one of the first ones that we've done. We don't have assessed value, so we usually don't start the meetings till that. But you're close enough that we can talk about this, and these are things you can mark up, you can ask questions. Once we get the assessed value, we'll change that, we'll get you a new copy, go from there, okay? Page 6 is lease purchase. I don't think you have any new lease purchases. Okay. Next page, page 7 is the general fund. I only have really a couple questions here, and then I saw, I think it was in the special highway fund, so we're matching that there. But if you see that first circle there, that's this 1% sales tax. So you end up transferring that to special highway, okay? And so it tracks, if you look on page 10, page 10 is where the 82,000 shows up in. You see that I didn't circle that. I put a line after the side sales tax. So that's the transfer from the general fund to here to spend for streets, okay? And then the other one, usually what happens in the general fund especially, the two columns, 26 and 27, we always try to make sure that the receipts are conservative. So like if you overestimate the receipts, like that's why I circled franchise fees. I didn't know if you got some new agreements or if those dollars that went up, or if we maybe need to back that off a little bit. Because what happens is if you build a budget based on 31,000, I'm just using this as an example, build at 31,000, but it only comes in at 26,000, you have 5,000 of revenue you're not going to get, and then you build your budget based on the 31,000, you've overstated your expenditures. You see what I'm saying? So it's better, I've said this many times here, but it's better is cash is king. So like if you lay it lower, it comes in at that amount or more, you can always spend cash. You can't spend, it's like at home. You can't spend budget if you don't have any cash. Okay? So those would be, you might look kind of look through those two columns, 26 and 27. The other thing to remember on all these funds is the 26th column is really the pivotal column. And what I mean by that is we're sitting here right now on June 11th. We do not have a crystal ball. We don't know what's going to happen the rest of this year. So that middle column, depending on how you spend, is going to determine if you have enough cash based on what we're doing to spend in 27, okay? So as we go through and look, I'm not sure exactly if you have if you like have a budget to actual, and what I mean by that is like in your computer, if you would, each of these lines or whatever line you have in there, okay, here's what we budgeted and here's what we spent today. So if it's 25%, you're under budget, okay? But if it's 75%, you're over budget. Because that budget, that line item is, right now, should be about 50% of what you budgeted last year. Does that make sense? Again, it's just like at home. I don't really have anything else unless, that's kind of the general fund in a summary. The levy is still the same as last year. We didn't change that until we know, what the new assessed value is, okay? And then we'll look at it and see if we need to. The next thing on general fund is, if you look on page 8, I didn't go back and ask on this, but the one number there more than we might dig into is that first column, 25, where the total is 474. Do you see that total administrative or general fund? But the contract up there, contract line, I didn't know, there might be some one-time expenditures in there that we wouldn't need to budget, because we're quite a bit under the 26 and 27 in total, almost 200,000. So we need to kind of look at that general government, in the actual for 25, and then see if we have those same expenditures in 26 and 27, or are we really good at backing it off like we have it, okay? I didn't know, just one I was thinking about when I was driving into town is when you took the nursing home down, you had to pay for that, didn't you? And I didn't know where that came out. Did that come out of that line, contract services there, or did it come out of somewhere else? And I'm not trying to put you on the spot. But that's just one example I thought of. You're not going to have that expenditure again. You would have had it, a one-time expenditure in 25. So wherever that shows up, that would be one that we want to make sure that
Yeah, that is about what we spend on child.
on child care.
Yeah, so that difference is about what we spend on child.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Okay. Then the next question, these are just general questions. The police, for example, I know, I don't know how long in 25 there you went without a policeman, but you see how the personnel services are quite a bit less than what they are in 26 and 27. So that'd be another one you would look at and say, okay, what is the projected, finish 26, what is your projected salaries in the police department from now, today, and then what it'll be to the end of the year. And that's why I put that note there. That's one we need to kind of look at. And then, I was asking a question here, but I found it later, down here on the streets. The 82,000 is actually transferred out and put over in special highway, and then this is just where you have a street department forever here, just the amount is based on the general fund. It has nothing to do with the 82, which you transfer that. I just want to make sure. Okay, go to page 9. This is debt service fund, and we have not levied in this fund because, basically because if you look at the first line in 2025, 46,944 in the 25 column, you see that encumbered cash. The reason we didn't levy the last 2 years is because you had quite a bit of cash built up, okay? There's no reason to levy if we can pay that first column, the bold number 33,100. We had enough money in cash to pay in 25. And then if you go to 26, we actually are off just a little bit there. And I'm not sure, have you paid at 25 and 74 or 75, you would have paid the interest in May here, and probably the principal will be in the fall. That's usually the way the bond issue is set up. Yeah, that's on the Series 213 bond, And interest paid April 1st, and then the actual principal and interest is paid October 1st. So that's what you always look at, is see when those payments come. Because in that middle column, you see when you make the full payment, you potentially could be in a negative unencumbered cash balance, okay, the negative 425. So what we might have to do, we might have to transfer in a little money or pay it out of another fund. That's just something you'll have to monitor before that payment comes up October 1st, okay? And then for 27's budget, we'll have to see, we're in the hole, about 25,000 there. You see the circle number? So we basically lowered the cash down, and that's where we'll have to go back to levying or transferring from water or sewer, but probably levying. I think 2013 bond issue is the streets. Does that sound right? After you did this, I think that's what it was, streets. I think that's right. Okay, let me keep going here. 10, I already showed you the sales tax, and there's the KDOT grant proceeds. Is that for Main Street? Where was that? Main Street or KDOT Street? You see on page 10.
Yeah.
Main Street?
There's 3 blocks right off of Main Street.
Yeah. Okay. They're going to do that. Okay. Perfect. So anyway, I'm not sure. You might look at those numbers in the 27 column. I know Tiffany had. I think Tiffany's probably talked to you. She's been working on this, and John. That's a question. And then the only other questions I really have is on 11 and 12 in the utility funds. I think the last time I talked to you, we were getting a rate study done.
We did raise rates.
Did raise rates.
Water,
Okay.
sewer.
So you might look at those, at 183.5 in both those columns on water and sewer on the next page, and see if, when you calculate out the annual receipts, see if we're close on that, okay? And then I think, this is last year, when the water grants were coming in on page 13, it's capital improvement. I think we put the 1.8 in the middle column, and we put the 1.8 down below in the expenditure side. But is that actually going to flow through there, or will it flow through the water fund? Could we have it over there also on page 11 at 1.8 million? I'm not sure. So you might look at that and see how that flows on a KDHE loan. Because it might be what you usually do, and smaller cities don't do this as much, but you set up what's called a capital project fund, not a capital improvement fund. So like in Galva, we set up a capital project fund for all that water. And so what happens is, if you need help with that, Tiffany could help you. But I think it's very good to put a capital project. What happens is the debt, any grants, anything that goes in there is just in that fund. And then the expenditures come out of that fund, and they should zero. But they may not. We had to put some money in from general fund and some others to make it balance. Okay? And that way the capital project is the only thing that runs through that fund. And then when it's done, it closes out. Okay? We probably didn't talk about that.
I think the reason we put them in other funds is because right now we have 3 or 4 or 5 projects happening. And so we thought it'd be easier to list each project as its own line in that fund. There's some expenses you can pay with the money and some you can't. So I didn't want it to be split into 3 different funds. You know, like the sewer project, there was, we can't spend, you can't spend the money that they gave us for, like engineering work for the studies before again. And so we had a bill for that. That just had to come out of that fund, not out of the project.
Yeah. So another thing you can do, that's what my person does, you go to page 13, they actually run, it's not really capital improvement, but we could do it out of capital improvement. What they do is they run all of their capital projects as departments out of a big capital project fund. So like those 3 things you mentioned, we would go down here on bottom of 13 here under the water project at 1.8. And what we could do actually is we could run them all, the part of it through here for sewer, water, and whatever, street, or whatever else. I guess street will come out of the special highway probably, but that's a way to do it. Then you wouldn't have to set up another fund. You would just set up a department in there, and we would track the money. Well, that's another way to do it. But if Tiffany's worked on that, John and Tiffany, so let us know what you're thinking after you. And if we don't know that totally, when we're doing the 27 budget here, it does not relate to mill levy. So it's a matter of, this is nothing more than a guideline. The budget is nothing more than a guideline. If we don't have it exactly, laid out on that part, it's not. And you're doing rate study. That's the always thing I'm kind of concerned about. But usually when you do debt or you do PDHE or loans or whatever, you usually have a water study done. So the rates and the sewer rates and all that match. The only other question I had is on page 14, and I thought maybe we just didn't just update it for the journal entry, is that sewer lift station project was a negative 5601. Was there a journal entry that we need to make on that to get that zeroed out? Do you know, from the audit? We might talk to Tiffany about that also.
It was the part of the GO1, so it was like a reimbursement.
Okay.
So I'll just have to ask her how to.
Got it back to,
Yeah.
we shouldn't have a negative, so that would do something. See if we can get that fixed.
Yeah, it was on the audit.
Yeah,
It was
on the books, yeah. Give it a cheat on. Okay? Then the last thing is on page 15. Again, we don't have the final assessed value. Just a couple of things here. I circled up there where debt service is, there's no levy. That might be one we have to levy, just like I said, once we kind of figure out where we're at. Then the revenue neutral rate is not true revenue neutral yet because we don't know what the new assessed value is. The revenue neutral rate would go up or down based on whether the assessed value went up or down. And I can give you the new numbers on that once we get the assessed value, okay? Because if you look, we basically levied 48.544 the last 3 years, or 2 years. And I'm not sure if we'll be able to or not, and keep our cash balances where they're at because of the debt service. So we used our cash. That helped you for 2 years. You didn't have a levy on the debt service, but we might have to go back to a levy. Okay? Any questions?
On page 7,
Yeah.
we have in the second block, with the Murray ball field,
Okay?
we're budgeting $30,000. That ball field no longer exists.
Okay.
They crossed it off on
Okay. So what do we do with that money?
All it does, since it's in the general fund, so if you look at that on both 7 and 8.
Okay.
7 is a summary, so all you do there is you just draw a line through the McMurray ballpark.
Yeah.
You go over to page 8, you see
Yeah.
the bottom department down there, McMurray ballpark.
Yeah.
That goes bye-bye.
Okay.
And then what happens, that 13,000 in both years just goes back into unencumbered cash.
Okay.
Because you're not spending it for that.
Right.
And you take it out of there. Now, we can take that 13 and literally put it anywhere, in the budget.
Put it in the park or?
Yeah, that's right. The thing you have to remember on all these funds like this, no matter if they're levy funds or not levy funds, so you go back to page 7,
Yeah.
you see that 769, 863 in the right-hand column, about 6 numbers up, bold. You see that 769, 863 on the very right-hand, down at the bottom there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
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 So the way the state budget authority works is these budgets are just guidelines. And so those line items from Porter McMurray, starting up with general government on that page, that same page,
Right.
every one of those line items that does a department or a park or whatever, those are just guidelines. The only number,
This is all general fund.
yeah, the only number we have to worry about that we don't go over is that 769, 863. So you can move, even in the middle of the year, you can move those numbers around inside your budget, as long as you don't go over the 769 in the general fund. And that's the way every fund is. That bold number down the right is the number you look at, to make sure you don't have a budget violation. Okay? Anything else?
Are we helping?
Yeah, I mean, you look on that front page, I gave you those unencumbered cash balances. I mean, there's one county, see, the counties under revenue neutral right now are really struggling because they don't have other income, like they don't have utility income and all that, so they pretty well work right off of real estate taxes. I have one county, up on the Nebraska line, that at the end of 25, they had $6,450 in their general fund. That is 1/6 of one day, okay, of expenditures. Think about that, 1/6 of one day. So you, about the first, 3 hours of the day, you're paid, the rest of it is profit. So there's struggles, and the legislatures didn't change it. If they would have changed it, it would have really been a challenge. But the governor vetoed the bill. But anyway, there's a lot going on in that whole valuation, mill levy, all that. It's nuts. Yeah. Okay, I've taken enough time. Is there anything else? Got other people here to talk. If you got any questions, you know how to get hold of me. When we get the final numbers, we'll give this pack. We'll give you an updated pack. Okay? Okay?
Thank you, guys.
Okay, thanks. Have a great evening.
We'll move on to the approval of the KWO grant engineering contract.
Trying to be shorter than Scott. Okay. So, you guys met with, first, congratulations. You got a technical assistance grant from KWO. I know we started that last summer, and then in August, we kind of scrambled to put together, like, what do you do to try to qualify? What's our best foot forward? We put in, I'm going to call it, like, conglomeration of what we thought. This will just be the reference as we go. This was what Rosemary and Crystal used in that, and you guys have seen this before. Just probably don't remember too many colors and times of what went on. But technical assistance is basically one part of the program, then the other part is the construction. So the theory would be is that you take the technical assistance, you do what you need to do, pay for your engineering, your administration, and easements, anything that you need to get the project shown. And then if you remember, we kind of teetered with that, and we were like, the best thing you can do is go technical assistance because you got a higher ranking potential for it. So the items in green is what Rosemary turned in, and then you guys approved the grant agreement, maybe April, May, with the Kansas Work Office. We all commented on that thing back and forth with the water office a couple times to try to, I mean, they were late on their announcements, and then we were like, well, I don't know the timetable, but the timetable that's in there is what it is. You just kind of deal with it, right? You can get an extension provided you make progress. So we're a little bit behind, not the end of the world. We've gotten 2 or 3 extensions on some other projects, but you just got to show progress. And they have to articulate back that these awards that they're doing are actually doing something. So that's why the quarterly reporting. And I think you guys approved an administrative agreement with Rosemary maybe at the last meeting. And that she'll work with us. So we'll have to work with Rosemary and Crystal through that process. So what's quarter's up? What have we done? What are we going to do? Where are we going? So Rosemary thought I should come when they came. I was like, that's probably a lot all in one night. Let's just get you guys approved. Let's get it, and then we'll show up with the engineering. So what you have, or what Morgan had given you, was a standard engineering agreement. Tons of reading material for the attorney. I don't know if you've seen that yet, but pretty standard stuff. Then there's a scope of services in A. Exhibit B is kind of a diagram of what we're going to design. We might move that a little bit depending on what we find. The long and the short is we're going to study. You can't do this anymore next year when you apply. So we got lucky on how we do this. We're going to do a study, and then we're going to design. And we're going to design what I would call phase one of distribution improvements, which is exhibit B in there, kind of had some a colored picture. I don't know if it turned out color on yours, but it had some blue and pink. And that was what Austin and I sat down last August and said, here's our best path forward to try to show to get started. And then we had another diagram that had more areas that would be like our next wish list of areas that we would like to tackle. In the study part with the water modeling services, so if you go to A, exhibit A in there, the front stuff is standard lingo. It really doesn't really have anything, that's what you're doing. But in exhibit A, I itemized out in 1.2 what we call water system modeling. And so, as I mentioned, in the future, you're not going to be able to design a project and do modeling as part of one grant. They changed the rules in the last couple of months. The legislature redid the whole Kansas Water Office Fund. They extended it, but they changed the rules. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a study of the distribution system in a water model, and we're going to model the whole system. And we're going to try to find out if what that picture shows for the first phase is exactly what we want to do. We might get in the model and find a little slight variance of, oh, we should have put a 6-inch line here, not an 8-inch, or whatever we got. We don't have a model when we did that picture. So we're going to do a model and a report. And we're going to use that report then later, whether it be the Kansas Water Office, whether it be CDBG, whomever's funding institution shows up. You know, those change every year. The Water Office didn't exist 4 years ago. That grant wasn't even possible in GSCI. So that first one is to basically model the whole system, find your deficiencies across the whole system, then lay that report down so that we have that for future applications. You're basically leveraging the Water Office to pay for the feasibility study that you're going to use to fish for more money later. Does that make sense? So 1.2 is like the comprehensive water distribution look, just so you have a document later, so you're not back here asking Enid for another feasibility. If that makes sense. So that thing's going to come out and say basically do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, and we're going to implement phase one, which is exhibit B. Is that confusing enough? So you're basically laying that together from a preliminary engineering side. Remember on the water supply, we did a preliminary engineering report. Then you use that to get money. We're going to do the same thing to get more money later, but we wanted them to pay for that. And then in 1.3, under final design services, we're going to design those lines that are shown on that map in feet. We need to tweak them slightly because the study said we needed to upsize that pink line from 6 to 8 or whatever. We'll do such. We just had to lay out some sort of diagrammatic thing that they could put their eyes on when you turned in the application. So like, where are they trying to focus their energy? Main Street. Water tower out for the main artery. Because if you could do the rest of the downstream stuff, it doesn't matter if your artery doesn't leak. You can't get the water there. It doesn't matter how many fire hydrants you replace on that side of town. You can't get the water there. So we're trying to work tower out is the way to say that. But we also know Main Street's kind of a target for doing cost share and things like that. So we're trying to put our energy in. If we can get there and get that done before they do, we can work with it. Does that make sense? So we're doing 2 in 1 here. We're doing kind of a study and a water model. Then we're turning around and we're going to design improvements that'll be shovel ready. And then we'll fish back out of the Kansas Water Office and anybody else for a shovel ready project for that diagram that you see. But the study's going to also talk about more deficiencies in more areas so that we can use that study later, say Water Office, KEG, USDA, whomever. So next year, if you would apply for this, you wouldn't be able to call it. You'd have to do the modeling services. Stop, go back to the pot, ask for another one, do it again. We got 2 in 1 here, is the best way to say that. The rules changed right after that meeting. I was like, well, Crystal did the right thing. Crystal ball worked, that's what's right. So that's our intention. So kind of the first thing we'll do is like, not to get too deep in the weeds, but we'll take your GIS. So you guys as a city had KRWA some years ago map your whole system. We have those maps. A couple years ago, Austin got basically approval to get that from KRWA. We import them into a water model and start creating water models. what's the model? It's basically trying to build your existing system. So we'll get some fire flow data. If the fire department has flown any hydrants in the last few years, we'll take that data, we'll start with that. We'll try to calibrate. If we have problems to calibrate, we'll have to come out and do some fire flow testing, not in the middle of summer. But that will be our back check to build a model that's just equivalent to your system. When that's all said and done, and we build a report, and we go to design that first 1.3, always remember that's your model that has been built with your system. You can call Wilson and Company any day of the week and say, I got a situation, somebody wants to develop over here on this side of town, they need this much water. Can we even do it? The model will tell you a guideline of what you can and can't. You don't have that right now. You guess, right? Like somebody comes to town, wants to build a high school or whatever it may be, how much water they need, you're like, I think I can get it, I hope I can get it. This hydrant says I might be able to get it. The model will do that. So that's a living model that you can carry forward. The water districts around here that I work with, like person 1 and person 4, they have a living model. So you're basically getting a model built as part of this funding too. And that's something you can utilize. Like if we did phase 1 and we designed a new water line down Main Street, update the model to match that improvements. And then you can make an assessment on anything that happens later on within reason. We do that for like Park City, bigger communities that are growing like that. They have a model they call a couple times a month. Got an industry wanting to come in. We don't know if we can accommodate. They need a fire suppression system. They don't know. We can spit out hard data that Austin can give to the developer. This is the best we can do for you so that they can design quickly. So you're going to get that as a byproduct of all this. And it's hard to get that out of this verbiage, right? Like what's a water model and what the heck does it do? Well, I live that every day. So to me, it's like, yeah, that's a tool that you don't currently have that you're going to. Even if I wasn't helping you and you had some other engineer, you can take that model and import it. So it's your document that you're going to have the rights to. It's hard to run. You can't afford the software, so you would just call us. We can run it real quick like for you. So every rural water district, when they add it, usually they call them to an analysis, tell them we have this guy on the hill. We can do the same thing here. The residential service is not a big deal. That's when you get into some commercial development or something like that. This thing will show us the deficiencies, and that's how that report is going to build all the improvements you need to do. Because you're like, do I need to upsize that line over there? There's a couple of them up in here that we were talking about, like that hydrant barely flows anymore. But what the model's going to tell us what we can do to fix that. There may be 2 alternatives to fix it, but what's the cheapest one we can get by with and still perform? So that's 1.2, 1.3 of the scope of services. B's your picture. Just know that B could change based on what the model says. If we have more money when we do a bid or something like that, probably bid some more alternates of the other lines that we talked about to try to maximize money. So it can vary a little bit, but that's your general, where's the target for what we're doing. And then the last exhibit in there is you guys signed on that water office agreement, those provisions, special provisions on the back, and it basically says in that agreement that any sub-consultant or vendor or whoever works with you needs to sign and abide by those. So all we're doing is saying Wilson Company's abiding by the same rules you signed up for. Okay? So then the green items in there, I guess I'm going back to kind of the upfront, on the cost there. I broke them out on sheet 5 into water modeling services and final design services. Article 4, the payment, the lump sum. And if you look at the green paper that I handed out, we just matched. So you basically told the water office that's what you were signing up for. So I took preliminary modeling, that's your $25,000. Then I took the survey mapping and the final design, and I combined the 60 into those 2 tasks. And then Rosemary, you guys have anything with her, 10,000, I think, potentially. So you've got another 15, you got another 20,000 right now to didn't use that, you can give it back. We don't know what we find. We can pay for some attorney fees if it was to the project. We can lay claim to later because I said, administrative title and legal costs are in there. So anything that you help with that might be project related, we need to track that, and then Rosemary can turn that into a confession. So anything that goes down is you gather the bills. Yeah, that'd be awesome. And then as long as Rosemary can, Crystal can see that. Because at some point we'll need his assistance on it. Right? They'll see that, they can turn that in. If we encounter something that we weren't planning for and we still have funds left over, I've been able to go back, just track it and order it. If there's something that comes up, don't know, whatever that invoice is, let's go to Rosemary, let's ask it, pitch it. We've been able to get some additional funds out of that we were going to give back. Because otherwise you're going to return that, which is okay too. We did that at Ellis because we didn't need easements. I programmed here, we might need some utility easements. Maybe we won't. But maybe we'll need more than what I programmed. You can move them through there as long as we don't go over the total count. So right now you're under. We've matched Rosemary's 10K and 25K. So kind of just general timeline is a timeline that you guys signed up for here. Doesn't quite match because we're already behind, but it's fine. It says that basically we will be surveying and doing all that work between now and the end of September, completing drawings by March of next year. I don't really see a problem with all that. Really, it's the modeling. If the model comes together, then things get easier. The model's a little problematic. I really don't want to flow hydrants in the middle of summer when you got high demand. I'd rather do that in the fall, so it might be a little behind, but maybe we catch up. The theory would be is that we're getting done with this work probably mid-2027, so that we're applying in September of 2027 for our shovel-ready project because they extended the program by 2030. So we're definitely going there. If anybody else comes from a funding perspective between now and then, we might move our timeline to a conflict, right? Wilson, hurry up. You got something that appeared that we don't know. The KDHE loan grant that you got with supply, that program is really not much of anything this year. So good thing we didn't go that direction. But that doesn't mean next year or the year after that program has a new slew of money. We may have to re-strategize. But we'll have that report done sooner than later so we can use the report to go to another program while we're still designing phase one stuff. Right? You can still be designing it and be applying for it at the same time. That's a lot to digest, but theoretically, we're back at the water office in September of 2027. We won't make this year, obviously, but that's why Rosemary and Crystal set this timeline. Like, if we can kind of be done by March, then we're putting our next plan and our foot forward to where we look like. Questions, thoughts, concerns?
I think we can get a lot of the PETOing from the fire department. I'm pretty sure we.
I do think so.
I'm pretty sure we PETOed maybe the whole town last year. I can't remember. I think I PETOed.
Generally, if they have data,
I don't know what you asked, are you looking at me?
No, I'm saying.
he's telling them.
Like, I
So-
can't hear you.
So for your ISO rating,
Oh,
you got to do that, right? I mean, most towns, small ones struggle. But, so you're basically saying what you can get out of these hydrants. Then when I set my model up, I'm trying to make my model match exactly what he gets out. He gets a flow and a pressure out of it. So rather than wasting a bunch of water, I'll take what that data may have, put it in, see if I match. I mean, there could be some, you don't know. Then all we do is supplement it with some additional fire flows in areas that we don't match with it.
and where's the ISO this year?
Right.
If that's what you said.
And the theory in this whole thing is that you help that ISO rating. This model's going to tell us where those deficiencies are. I mean, you know where they are. but from a funding agency and a KDHE, they don't know where the problems are. That report will then identify that. We'll have a map that has pressure. Like all your hydrants will be some dots on that map. Some of them that are deficient will be red, some will be yellow, some will be green. And we'll have a summary sheet in the back make some improvements in the model. Like I'll take this line from a 4-inch to a 6-inch, this line, and then we'll run another aspect out of that, and we'll show you, if you upsize this line, or you loop this part of the system, now you're gonna get this flow out of that, and your ISO rate is gonna totally change it. But you don't know where to focus on. And that's what that model is. And you can use that thing on whatever it comes to. So you just generally can't afford to pay for that exercise out of pocket, just because, unless you're somebody like Park City, for example. They never had one until 5 years ago. They called us and was like, we need to do this because everybody's trying to develop. Like we're just telling people, Amazon came to Park City. They put that Amazon building up and called me and said, we can't get fire suppression. I was like, well, that's because you can't get the model. So we had to work backwards, and then they had to put an on-site tank out there. If you ever drive by there, they have a tank outside now because they couldn't get enough flow through the line to get fire suppression for the sprinkler system. They were already about done with the building. So that was the resolution to fix it. Had we had a model at that time, we could have told them what they might be faced with and what they're planning for. So that's where those models come in handy. If somebody big does a heavy water usually comes, how do we even achieve that? But yeah, we'll use that. Like you said, what they have, we'll take and start with. And we'll just fill in the holes later. And that you have your town GIS helps too. That exercise, rather than $25,000, would be $50,000 if you didn't have all that preliminary work. So you helped yourself to get the map. Right? That GIS in the system, you know where your stuff is. A lot of times, don't even know where it is. So then, okay, we gotta go find it all. We'll try to find it all. So we'll use that model as a basis, bring that GIS in, take your fire flow, so. And then we'll have some meetings along the way with Austin. So this is what we found, this is what the model's showing. If you guys want us to come bore you with that, we can do that. So, or sometimes council members are like, I'll join that meeting, so I just want to understand it. So with that said, I'll just leave it to you guys. If you don't have any other questions, you guys want to approve it, table it, run on, totally fine. It'll work in the sense of you'll get a bill, and every quarter you can apply to the water office, you can first. Yeah, our invoices will come. You just want to pay them.
Reed, you put this down, you put this
I reviewed it on a grand scheme. I don't see any problems, but I didn't fly spec it, so if you want me to fly spec it, that's up to you. I didn't have any glaring issues, but
I'm moving forward with it, you want to go for it, you want to look forward to it.
I'm comfortable with it as it is, but if you
Okay.
wanted to make sure that there's,
I'll make a motion to approve the KWO grant. Contract.
I'll second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
I'm sorry, who seconded it?
I can take it back and get signatures on that. I didn't have to sign because I didn't know if he was done. I did that, which is fine. And then I can get you a copy. And then I'll get Rosemary a copy electronically and we'll submit that to the water office because they need to sign off on it. So that they'll be eligible for reimbursement at that point. And then, like I said, Rosemary and Crystal will help you with the quarterly reporting and submitting of the invoices so you get reimbursed. So I always tell everybody, don't pay until you get the money in your account or whatever. I know he was talking earlier, Scott was about how you navigate that. This is one of those, how do you navigate that so that you don't get confused between the supply project and this project because they're going to run simultaneously.
And they're backwards. That one we pay first and get funds after, and this one we,
You could do
Get
that one.
funds.
You could do that one the same.
I just know those are something.
Yeah,
So
right.
it won't.
And that's what they can help you because they're the same folks helping on those projects. I just didn't want to get it accidentally crossed up. So Scott had a good idea in how you track that so you don't get confused. Because you're generally not doing two at the same time. Or you with the sewer project.
I'll talk to the fire
I'm
department.
sure they have. So, and then I think the only other thing I just had to mention was I'm just waiting on when the equipment for the lift station is going to arrive. I think he's still trying to hunt down a date for that. I think we'll have to make a decision at some point as to whether we want them to start and put the lift station in, or do we want them to wait until the generator arrives. With the storms that have been going on, I would tend to say let's wait. But if the lift station, like if we get to September and the lift station arrives then, maybe we could have them start the lift station. Knowing the generator isn't too terribly far. I don't want you to live without a generator through May, June, July, is what I told Tom at MBI the other day. He got that. And I was like, we're kind of, he wanted me to come talk to you guys about it, but I was like, well, I mean, we're just going to go talk about it and not have a date of delivery, so that'd change our mind later. So we might be back with an email conversation that's like, hey, the lift station did show up, so they could start. My hesitancy was, I don't know, I want you to start during May, June, July, while it's storm. Roxbury was without theirs, they were not going. So they were trying to borrow a generator from you guys. Right, so I
And then they
think.
told us that even if we brought one, it wouldn't plug in.
Right. So theoretically, I think we might not want to live without a generator right now. We can have a discussion, but if the lift station shows up. Sometimes those generators have long lead time items, sometimes they just miraculously show up. And it was all a for non-destruction. So I'm having it, but I'm kind of telling you guys, just put that back here for now. We'll see once when the lift station really does show up, and then we'll make a real decision. So we may be forced to make that decision. Like we started and we got it all done in a couple of weeks, then the old lift station, or the new lift station would not run on the other generator. Just due to horsepower. So we go that way. So it kind of comes down to it. Sorry, Austin, it comes down to Austin babysitting something when it doesn't work, right? So, but if that thing was causing you fits, it's every day, it probably wouldn't get on. So, that's all I have. Is there anything else on this station? Oh, I think the only other thing was the entrance there for the deal. I talked to MBI about throwing a plate down. I know it's the opera. I sent him an email, just a follow-up discussion, just said, you know, you guys want to throw a plate down and protect that thing so that we're not having a he said, she said later, that might be beneficial for you. Knowing that, you know, if we throw a plate down and something does happen to that yard, we understand. You try your best. So that's how I left it with Tom and MBI. You have one, throw it down, and then that kind of gives us. He kind of asked that too, like, do you guys have one? I was like, well, you have one, what do you do? He's like, I do. I don't mind necessarily bringing it, not the end of the world, because I just don't want somebody mad later if we did break it. We're not going to hold it against you if you try it. Not be intentionally break it, yeah, I'd probably be frustrated. So I went out there and took a couple pictures tonight, just so I had it in case I'm not, you know, I think he wants to try it. That's how we let that conversation go. It was probably 2 weeks ago. And he didn't have equipment lead time or delivery expectation, but he's still trying to figure it out. So I said, keep me posted, then I'll get to Boston and I'll make a decision on it. Yeah, we want you to start because this thing is totally breaking down on us, or no, it seems to be going all right. Let's wait for the generator a little bit longer and decide. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 7 is Elizabeth
She came in the other day and talked to me. She made it sound like she was coming, but I could have misunderstood. She brought me 3 concerns, I guess. What she said was she had come to council and maintenance before everybody now, and talked about replacing the culvert at the end of her driveway. She lives on North Fifth, she was last house on the east side. And I guess it was determined that she would have to purchase the culvert, but the city would need to install it. told me she has the culvert. It's in her yard. She's just, I guess, waiting for somebody to come put it in, but to my knowledge, nobody on staff now knew about that, so I just had her fill out a form so we could track it on paper that this is the date she came in, and this is what she wants done. So I didn't know if anything needed approved or just discussed, or, but like I said, I thought she was coming, could have misunderstood. She just had a complaint about the drainage at that corner, Ashland and 5th Street. She did mention that part of the problem she thinks or knows is that the Marion County line that's there leaks in that ditch or something. So, but she also said just when it rains that there's no drainage to get it out when it accumulates there. I'm not familiar with the area, so I just will pass it along. And the other one, she's wanting a street sign. She has a child with special needs. So she wants a, she said she could put a sign in her yard, but that doesn't make it an actual traffic. I don't know if there's a specific sign, you know, that she had in mind, or I don't know a lot about traffic signs to know what's available.
But it's the intent of the sign, like to notify that there is a child with special needs.
Yeah, she said, I guess specifically there's one vehicle that drives fast on the street, and like a younger kid, she said.
I've ever seen a sign notify
I have
children at
seen,
play, but
I've seen a lot of signs for children that are deaf.
Yes.
Like
Yeah,
in
yeah.
areas.
I've seen those.
So that's why I wasn't sure if
Just
there
kind
was
of,
a specific sign that she
I drive with.
wanted, but I didn't know where that started, who, you know, who approves it, or where do you, which sign do you get, or
What type of, is she specifying what type of sign she wants? We probably have to start on that.
yeah.
I don't know.
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Reese's got information, look at that.
I think I did a culvert research deal a while back, but I'm pretty sure that it's not a free service to have just a culvert replaced because the property owner wants to have the culvert replaced. So I think he can do it, but he can assess his cost, equipment rental and all that, so make sure.
McPherson County just changed the way they do it. They used to, I'm wondering about the culvert, they put it in, but now I just recently saw they assess the charge to do that labor. So, that's something we have to look at. And we also would have to make sure that it's an adequate sized culvert, because people tend to think a 4-inch pipe will do the job, and it just won't. We're in the 8-10-inch culverts. So that's something we have to look into. Have you know anything about, have you seen the culvert or anything?
I saw it back in freezing, we were looking at the sewer bid 2 or 3 days ago.
Is it bigger than that? You don't know for sure?
I didn't measure it.
Okay.
What about the drainage down there? It does get backed up pretty good.
I would have to shoot grade. I don't, off the top of my head, I can't tell you. I do know that it floods over in that area.
Yeah.
It floods in the whole town.
Real bad, especially
No.
on the driveway.
I know that some of it's gonna have to entail railroad or
I
something.
mean, I don't know if Marion County has any responsibility since they opened them up.
I doubt
I
it.
mean, I don't know. I just know it doesn't,
The only thing that I would
Yeah.
do is I'd probably talk with township and just see
cut
like
that
where
out.
all of our boundaries are
Yeah.
and get a good assessed
Yeah.
value out of that. And I need to see which way, on Fifth Street, where it starts to dip and feeds water south and north. I have to look at that too.
Now, short term, because I have looked at it, and there's dips there, there's no water, it's a muddy mess. Could we put some rock or something in there to help it out a little bit?
I can do whatever.
I don't even know if that's gonna work, to be honest with you. It's gonna fill up whether there's rock there or not, in my opinion. 'Cause I drive there all the time. I mean, it's like a swimming pool. I just feel like maybe if somebody could just like, cut a little bit of that out to
It's not that easy.
little, I know, but it's out there. But, tried that, she's tried shoveling a way out there. I mean,
Because, I mean, I know what you're talking about.
yeah.
I can go from her culvert to the corner,
Mhm.
but even if you get this water to go there, then it just fills up with
Yeah.
that. So I need to look at the very end,
Right.
where the railroad and underneath technically 27. We need to look at that, and then we need to work our way back. So we can see how deep we can go here, and how deep we can go here. And then
But I
that'll
will say
judge
there is a,
how big a culvert,
right,
that'll
there is
judge
a lot
how
of
deep
water
we
that
can
does
put
back
it,
up there,
and go from
a
there.
lot.
I just gotta find the time to get that.
Okay, so we're gonna do a sign, so instead of research a sign, then.
Okay.
I tried while they're talking, but.
Hey, the Wi-Fi-
It's like not loading.
The Wi-Fi
It's
password.
not because it does. It's not for lack of.
No, it's not for lack of trying.
It's not because it does.
It's just literally just
Yeah,
sitting there. Huh?
I thought she was coming when she filled out these complaints.
I can call a sign company out of Salina, and I can see if they make that kind of sign. I can also get the cost of said sign, and then I can bring back to you guys how much the sign, the post, and everything to put in the ground would cost. How about we do that? I'll do the calling around and figure it
And,
Well, first of all, we need to find out what kind of sign she wants.
and we just wanted
I mean, you can call and see if they sell signs, but if you don't know what kind you need for
out. Well, they might be able to tell me, oh yeah, these towns have ordered a special needs sign, or
yeah.
Do we know what her special need is?
She's got a lot of issues that go on.
Is she
Well, you can't
autistic? Is she autistic or is she?
Autistic, she
Hearing,
can have,
I'm sorry, vision.
Oh,
We also need to look at the outside.
there is an autistic child area sign, that they say is commonly
just
used.
depends on.
Reese,
Sometimes she
would
has
we,
seizures, sometimes she
we
just
be
has black
responsible
lung.
for buying that
It's
sign?
hard to say.
I'd have to double check. I really don't know
Okay.
for a special request sign. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know either.
I think you just talk with her.
Huh?
I said, I think you just talk with her.
Yeah.
I mean,
Joe calls Salina.
yeah, I'll,
So you'll take care of all three or what? Okay, so we'll pass those on to me. Because he just has so much time.
Okay, pool, age 11 and 8, pool fence and pump. And then you guys have diagrams for
so you do, I'll tell you two ways we can do this. If we're gonna base this off of replacing the whole fence, because we have talked about replacing the whole fence. So replacing the whole fence is going to cost, oh, $13,000. Okay, so if we go through and we drill all the posts, you replace the fence, you're looking at about $23,000. Now, if we go through and we do what I have on my sketch, is basically instead of drilling every single post hole that they're charging us $10,254 to do, we go through and we take, I talked to Ratzel Brothers Concrete, and they do willing to come over and help us get basically about 2 feet of concrete cut off inside the concrete edge now. So you cut basically the whole fence out, tear everything out, and then we'd let the fence guy come back in. He'd put all of his posts back in the ground. We'll frame it, and we'll pour the border back in. So to do what I have on my sketch is to cut out all the concrete, and then on the north side, the east and west fence, it's 85 feet long, and we talked about going 4 to 5 feet inside the fence. So we're gonna cut off probably 8 feet of concrete there, due to bad concrete, just get out of there, and then put back 15 feet, and then do the whole 85 foot long, and then we're looking at 9,000 for that, and then the 3,000 for cutting the concrete off, so we're at 12,000. I'm throwing a lot of numbers, it may not make sense, it makes sense in my head. So 12,000 to do all the concrete work, get the post back in. Yes, it's 10,254, but we're getting extra concrete for seating, so all of those chairs at the pool stay on one side. We can paint a line on the ground, that's where chairs go. Our concern is all the way around the pool, people want to put chairs around that, and then there's not enough concrete space to keep a good variance for kids to be walking around, or if an emergency happens, I know it's a fence and outside already, but emergency happens, you have enough room around the pool to get away. Okay, so you're looking at 12,000 plus the 11,400. Add that, and then we've got a potential donator for a certain amount. We got 8,200 in
Actually, I
insurance.
submitted the entire amount to the anonymous donor, so I'm just waiting to hear back on that. As we talked about that before,
What's
so.
the 11,400?
That is for the new quote that got sent out for the fence.
So if they come back and say they'll do the extra that we added from last year or whatever estimate we had, we should need council approval because we have the donation. I'll let everybody know that we get that, but
So basically, the number that you sent in before, which was they approved 10,000
they approved
this last time. So the 10,000 donated, 8,200 insurance. Basically, what we'd end up paying at the very end of all of this would be about 5,200. So that's how much we are going to pay for all the concrete and the fence.
because insurance has already taken it.
Right. So that's, to sum it all up, that's what it comes down to. It's,
But I did go back and resubmit the bigger amount.
So you potentially could have zero out of pocket.
Exactly, yeah.
and I have talked to the fence guy,
Everybody was listening to that, so.
and he basically said that if we wanted to do it now, I'm just saying now, that he would be able to work with us, because he was thinking, well, I'll just come in and put a whole fence up and it's gonna take me 3 or 4 days. Well, he told me he can't do that. So if we did it piece by piece, and I worked with the Ratzer brothers to do certain sections all the way around, because one, we can't take the whole fence down. I don't have enough spare fence to put around the whole pool to keep it safe. So we do sections at a time, or if we waited till the pool is closed, then he could actually get us on the date to do it a lot faster, I guess. But we're still not gonna be able to tear the whole just fence off. We'll still have to do sections. So it's really up to what you guys want to do. I can coordinate all of it. We can get it done in sections. If you wanna start it in the next month or whatever, or we can wait till the pool closes, I don't care. That's up to you.
How much would it impact? having the construction done at the same time as.
Well, if I do it right, the pool's closed on Mondays. So if I can try to plan it to where, you know, the construction on the outside of the fence, I can put cones and caution. My temporary fence that I have, I've got 12-foot sections of chain link that are 6 or 7 feet tall, I can't remember. I got them from the old school. I've got 12 of those, I got 144 feet worth. So I can do pretty big sections, and it's not gonna be any different than what the fence is now, I guess I should say. I think I can get it pretty stable.
As to the patrons, and would be minimal.
As to the what, I'm sorry.
As to the patrons that are coming to the pool.
Yeah, I think it'd be pretty minimal.
If I read correctly, you had to have 4 feet. Is that correct? 4 feet of clear space between the pool and, I don't know, I'm kind of inclined to wait till the pool closes to do it all at one time.
I think it would just be a lot easier. We have other things to do than we would spend every couple of days, and it would also give them a free and clear spot to work.
We're kind of doing that stuff right now without.
I think it would just be, for me, it would just be a lot easier to work around, and that we're really not that far out from that, when we're looking at, I mean, it's August and school starts, right? So, we were really not that far out. I personally would like to see, I would personally like to see that we wait until the pool closes.
Now,
Hopefully we'll know soon financially where we're at, and we can start scheduling everything to do after the pool closes.
And being that far out, maybe we can, get on the schedule and meet that timeframe.
well, that was gonna be my question, like, are you approving anything or not?
Would you approve that extra 50%
Well, we don't have a hard commitment from our non-custodian.
well, I mean, I've got a verbal commitment
Yeah, you got a verbal.
on the
Yeah,
10,000.
yeah, we know we have to do the fence anyway. It has to be done. So we're gonna approve.
Should we wait a little bit to see
I mean,
if they're gonna come
if
back?
we're not gonna do it till the
Right
pool
now,
closes,
I mean,
we
we
can wait
can
till
wait,
it's gone.
Well,
See what
and
we
I
do.
agree with what you said, Crystal, too, but is that going to be an issue with schedule in Austin? I mean, we're not going to be able to get on his schedule unless we approve.
I mean, especially with all these storms that have came through, it's just getting farther and farther.
Yeah. The total cost, if we don't have any anonymous donor money,
We're looking at 52.
we're at 23,000 less the
Well,
8,200.
if you're looking, if you don't think they're gonna hit the 10, you're gonna have to add 10 to the 50.
Okay.
Well, you already got a verbal commitment on it.
Yeah, I feel confident in that.
Yeah, and here's the deal, if that changes, then we would come back and adjust. We've already got a
Yeah.
verbal
Right,
commitment on
if
it,
we say now, then
Yeah.
if something comes up.
then we would just have to adjust it.
And then you can use
I know
that,
somebody might be like.
you can use that 5,200 from the ball diamonds, so it's not affecting, it's already in the
13,000.
budget, right?
So Austin, will you give me that amount again, please? The 5,200 is what you're looking for? If we take away the insurance and then the donation of 10,000, we're looking at 5,200?
If you take away, like, if you take it off,
Yes.
No.
yeah, I mean, as long as my math is right on the dot.
What amount would you
Total
give?
cost of the concrete?
I feel comfortable saying 7,000, no more.
You told me.
Because the price of concrete will go up.
Yeah, exactly.
There's always a little bit of.
I know that.
Well, I know prices just keep going up on everything.
Yeah, on insurance, yeah.
So we're talking about that.
You got 12,000 on the concrete, your fence cost what?
You guys are making this, okay.
So we would be looking at, I mean, he said 58. If there's any, and the prices keep going up, so what would be?
money's already allocated to the pool, we just approve the release of money from the money already allocated to the pool.
Right.
And that should be, I think I just put it,
I don't know why.
I just put 500, just
We're
to
gonna
say.
announce
Exactly.
it.
I think
Or-
we
When?
should.
I mean, I think that we.
So if we do, so that we, are we having to pay in advance, I mean,
No, but we've got, we
why
committed to
could we
doing.
not schedule in the
Yes,
future?
it's scheduled,
We can always cancel it, we don't approve the funds.
Okay, we feel if we do 6, you'll find 6,000. If you would approve that tonight.
Some of the problems we've had in the past is we've done a lot of false starts with the companies we talked to. Canton goes in and gets bids and do all this other stuff that never comes to fruition. So these companies don't even want to talk to us anymore. Austin's been putting all those relationships back together. So we can't, you know, it's, he put some good stuff together with Brad, so they'll help us out when we need it. And we don't want to get them all dialed in for a date for concrete and then back out on it.
What would be the reason for the backup?
Why
What would be the backup reason?
Well,
Just want to do it anyway.
Well, but that, okay, so
Well, you
what
just
would
said-
be, excuse me, sorry. What would be the reason we would back out? Then why not just approve it and get it over with?
You're approving a fund that you may not need to approve, is all.
Well, exactly, then we just go back and we don't use it. We just don't use it. Versus making a step forward. I mean, you see what I'm saying, like,
I
you
mean,
can
either
argue
way,
either
it
way.
doesn't really matter, so.
Yeah, I just,
Yeah.
you know, what I mean, like, I don't,
So we're gonna allocate, what, $6,000 you said?
That's what came up.
Out of the money already, the $41,000 pool money to be used on fencing and concrete.
yeah, it has to be stated for that. That way it's not used for something else.
Right.
Move forward or not?
I'll make a motion to allot $6,000 for fence and concrete at the pool.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We will go on to the sewer driveway, and I don't know if we have any numbers.
I kind of took on the task to do the cost to do the 60-foot gate fence. And the hardware is about $1,300 and the.
I'm sorry, the hardware was what?
1,300.
1,300.
Yeah. And the labor to install it was between 1,000 and 1,500. But, as was just pointed out to us, this all became an issue because of having to try to get equipment over the cattle guard, which is a non-issue now. So I'm going to make a motion to table this to a later date.
I'll second.
So what did we do?
Tabling until we
Tabling,
get
okay,
we
okay,
need approval from the council.
okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Ken is spraying neuter funds. And we are maxed out of what we put in for the $3,000. So I know there was some discussion I saw. Some people talking that why weren't we back up catching up with Casey? Well, there's a reason, because we don't have funds anymore. So it's up to you guys if you want to proceed forward with this, or if we need to look at a different program.
I'll make a motion to allocate another $3,000 to the standard program.
I mean, I agree with that, but if people are just gonna bring their litters and dump them out there for the city to pay for,
This is what I got from a lady the other day. She's still gonna get back in contact with me, and I will be helping with transportation. We are trying to move these feral cats out to a different area, not around here. It's gonna take a while. People need to be patient. People need to stop being rude about things, you know, because over here because they felt bad for us. And, out of Wichita. And this is the message that I got. I just want everybody, I kept it on here, so I just want everybody to see. This is what I got.
Is this something you called around to?
No, she actually got in contact with me out of the blue. This was yesterday. It says, "Hey Mary, this is Tristan. Wow. And I don't know how to pronounce. And I work here in Canton, Kansas, and the store manager at Casey's gave me a contact in regards to the cat colony over by Casey's. I'm a volunteer and I'm a foster. I do a lot of TNR through Friends of Felines in Wichita. I have communications with the Street Cats Club in Emporia, which is another club that's getting involved as well with this, okay? With Victoria, and she's telling me that you have gotten money to get cats fixed, which was from the city. Okay. And I just had a few questions in regards to that. I do not want to say I've already seen, I said I do want to say I've already seen several pregnant cats. I've taken 11 kittens. She took 11 kittens out of there already, which you will not, when I was up there yesterday and today, you will not see kittens over there.
I haven't seen them last.
Exactly, because they have been taken out of there.
The little tiny.
The little tiny ones in the last 2 weeks from the cat colony over there. And I have placed them with the Wichita Animal Action League. I know that I'm not ever going to be able to continue to keep up with the cats, kittens, and I deeply care about the situation. So I just wanted to ask a few questions if you could call me back. I'm currently working with the Emporia Street Cats Club. They do it for free. And I'm looking for transportation for Friday's pickup. I'm planning to trap a few cats from there today. They'll be transported to Emporia tonight. They'll be getting fixed tomorrow, and then they'll be ready to be picked up and dropped back off in the colony on Friday. And if you know of anybody interested in that, they could help. I think she already has somebody for this go around, so to bring them back. No, I've left her 2 messages. She did message me back and said, I'm so busy right now, I will get back to you tomorrow, so Friday. But I have reached out to her twice already, because I don't want her to think that I'm not, yeah. So please let me know if I can get the addresses of other colonies here in town. She wants to know that as well. So that's where I need to go around and find out where these cats are. I know. And so she can get the addresses of your town. And I feel like the Street Cats Club in Emporia, I feel like they can make a bigger difference than what the city is able to do. But they actually have a trailer as well, and they could come here and do the TNRs right in Canton so that we don't have to transport all the time. So this is where we're at on it. I haven't gone into full detail with her or anything else about it.
What? She called the office. And
Yeah.
Is that Emporia deal? Is that a free service?
Yes,
There's
Emporia's
an
TNR
application.
is a free service.
Okay.
They are doing the spay and
You
neutering.
have to apply. And then she said for the mobile trailer, you have to have 40 cats.
Oh, I'm sure we can.
And I said, probably not a problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably not a problem. But we also need to be reminded, and I'm not dogging anybody, but there is a barn behind that over there in that area. And if you think for 1 minute that ain't where those cats are coming from, y'all crazy. Because that's where they do, and that's where they have them coming from.
With that 40 cat thing, is that gonna be a problem for us because we are not able to detain or house the animals?
We have to become a citizen.
Have them, well, so that's because,
Oh, we have a few that are already,
okay.
We would just
Right.
have to find out how many people, and I know it's a big task, that's when, if I have to go door to door.
and I don't think it's that big of a task, because you already know, what,
Do
2
you-
or 3 that are already.
Absolutely, and there's some that can just come to us. If we have just cages to put them in,
She
like,
mentioned being able to find more.
Exactly, to house them in, you know, just for a day. You know, it's not like they
We
do.
can probably get away with that.
How many do we
Yeah,
have,
it's-
Austin?
We have two.
Probably
I have two.
6.
We don't have the state licensing to kennel those animals. So-
Right, so it would have to be done in a day, like a day thing.
I mean, if
I'm
you
just-
need
but-
it
but I
somewhere,
Like you, like,
it-
store them for 24 hours?
They- You know what?
like if they wanted to
Bus
bring
and-
them up and drop them off, we can put them in the cat room.
Right,
um,
right,
At
right.
the shop. And then the trailer could probably even park out on the side of the building.
Back area?
Oh, that would be good.
And, I mean, I know there's nice ones around. I have,
So like for
Whether
people
this
that
is
have all the
feasible or not, I
cats,
have
if
a
they
shed.
can catch one, bring it up, catch one, bring it up, you know.
Yeah, our
and
biggest
stuff,
challenge is
little
obviously
boxes, I have all that.
storage of them. I mean, you can't just leave them in cages outside for 24 hours.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
Because we'll have
right.
a storm, but like, that would be a great solution to that if we could use an area or
Yeah, we have
tents
those.
or temporary shelters.
So what I need to do is just
Well, we don't know.
sit down with her and,
It's taken 2 years to go to the 3,000 out there.
I know, that's what I was thinking. I think that's pretty good for,
But I was wondering if we wanted to just
I know they're taking the kittens.
I'm sorry.
Well, it's only been 1 year.
Yeah, it was approved last year.
Yeah,
I had
because
just
the
got on
check
the
we paid her was June of 25. This is all the checks we paid elsewhere.
We can allocate the money if it's not used, it's not used.
But yeah, and we.
Right, and like I said, I need to, she wants to sit down with me, we need to go through where are,
Maybe just increase it, just be.
she wants to
Yeah.
know about kittens for sure.
Yeah.
Kittens for sure, she will remove them.
That we can continue to.
That way we can continue to
Yeah.
get some of the.
But she wants to get the kittens
That's what
out
I'm
of
gonna
here.
suggest.
Out of here.
Never would, or, I mean, never would go. continue.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can still do that.
I mean, it's not like we
Yeah.
can't discuss.
Well, I mean, I was okay with the 3,000, I just,
No,
not
you-
if
you
people are
made
just
the
gonna take
motion,
advantage
nobody
of it and
seconded.
drop their litters off
So
for
there needs to
us
be a
as all.
As Morgan pointed out, from contacts and information she has, we could have done twice as many cats this last year. So 3,000 is not out of the question. If we use it, we don't know.
That's true. But, like I said, I just need to be able to sit down with her, she's been really busy, you know, and everything.
If we say cats more than that, I mean, that's the things that the cats going to the vet, that we do.
Fixing and we did like fixing crazy dogs.
Yes.
They have to go together.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's part of their set price for us, the shot is included.
So I made a motion for $3,000 for the spam year program.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're gonna go into council plan, executive session.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session for council, for 10 minutes, starting at 8:04.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hey, guys.
You just need a few more things to do, don't you, Austin?
You know, some people think I don't do anything.
I know better. I know better. You get pulled so many different directions, there's days you can't get nothing done. by the old trailer park over there?
North of that.
Okay. Yeah, they don't drag on the shit over there.
That whole side comes.
Cheaper to haul in dirt.
Well, the problem is it really actually, some of it is ours, we make some of it.
Yeah.
But some of it is road property, they say that they do what they want, but
Yeah.
they're not gonna help or do anything.
And if something happens, derail, oh, you did it, so therefore you owe.
And we can't interrupt any of their stores that they have, and it's like, well, how do you do that?
Yeah.
Pretty gate ditch.
You just gotta stop and think. Have we got the information to test well, the property to do
I
that?
got one on there that can't put it on. I'm really good at the other one, but all of the day.
Isn't there, well, head protection supposed to be?
Oh, what?
Well, head protection zone,
Like that 200, like 200, but I don't get around to it.
radius.
It's
Where-
basically almost a mile, like, not even a mile, but the center of the well,
Yeah.
a mile. And, sorry.
I was gonna say a mile, you're going way too big. Yeah, it's about 200 feet, and that's all supposed to be CRP grant, right?
It can actually be,
And
they
then,
just can't put it further. Like, you really, but you're not supposed to put it fertilizer.
sprays at any time. Cause see, up in Iowa, I know when I worked in the city up there, there was a farmer, he did the research, so he got to include his whole fields, but he got a premium CRP grant, and they let him mow it once or twice a year, but he couldn't ban it. He'd mow it. But he got a premium price for it. So I wonder if you wouldn't benefit from that out there, then you gotta worry about your crops.
Problem is that,
No, I mean, because the farmer farms basically right up to the building.
yeah,
And it's,
I don't think one of the farmers,
because there's the three buildings. I know, the one that built the cattle, put the cattle pen in, that's a little close. I didn't think you were supposed to have animals that close,
I think you,
because that's 500 foot, ain't it?
I don't think so, I think they can be pretty close. I mean, you're still supposed to have it, really.
The 200 radius.
Not really what, and if we go to new wells, AAG requirements now, we will put that.
Oh, a fence that far out. It's just a radius, ain't it, of the well, or is it of the building?
200, so I mean,
So it's,
you can make it so it's say 9
but you're thinking of doing it square?
I would, I mean, you might as well.
If the farmer.
Just say you're gonna buy an acre,
Yeah.
make it simple. But, I mean,
But if the farmer is within a quarter, I think it's a quarter of a mile, at least up there, of the well, they could actually go into that CRP ground and get a premium CRP ground instead of regular CRP.
it goes across.
Because that's what one farmer did up there. He says, why the hell worry about cutting? Why the hell worry about planting or nothing? I'm making money. He says, it's paying the taxes and then some. I said, well, you're right. I'm just, oh, they are.
They want you to, because they, and problems around where we see, or city, like that, at least runs up, they can just tell you.
And then you got to cap that well and get
It
it.
might be better. They have, or, they already were on these. We did it a few times, I guess. Whatever. And, the new
Yeah, I know. They took a pencil,
That makes
put it
sense
there,
to me.
came out, yep, you're in that. And he mowed it every fall. Well, strips of it fall. He let some of it for wildlife.
That culvert is not totally done.
So, yeah. When I heard that culvert,
It's not totally.
how are you supposed to find the time?
Can't they take that?
And it sounds like you're talking about budget for water projects and sewer projects down the road, like I'm used to hearing. That's good. That way you got to set aside, it sits there until you have to take use. That's good. That goes wrong. Hey, is there a point in life there for fireworks in that? On the third? I thought I saw it on Facebook just one day, and now I tried to find it again to show my wife.
The library.
That's Saturday.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't want to have to do several light parties or anything. So like good for.
And I would think if you want to, you could go out
Something
somewhere.
they go outside.
Will they have a donation jar or anything? Yes, like the library wouldn't bother me. Where are you gonna shoot fireworks off at?
But I think they could do the same thing over on underneath 27th. That is not totally done.
Okay.
I would think with any kind of water law, we would do that once it's on state.
Yeah, I know where you're going.
We'll be at that far. And I figured if I could put the whole, they let us know on came one time and all. And my grade was there, representational field, and then we sit in that big empty lot there.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause I can see it from my house.
Okay, we'll resume our meeting at 8:13. So we'll go on to department reports. Police department, I know I talked to McCall the other day. He hasn't been showing up lately, and he had a lot of other items to attend to, but he's back working the streets again. So
Whatever happened to the possible candidate?
we have one. I will send everybody his resume. He's in the Canton, Charleston area.
And he currently works like in Park City or Chai or something.
He's working.
Very awesome.
I can forward that on with a few modifications, so, I'll send that out.
Okay.
But McCall, he does a good job in this field.
Yeah.
Maintenance.
I'll start off with one of the problems that we've been dealing with for about a week and a half. You have a piece of paper in front of you. It's called Amaran Utilities. It's a construction company that does boring. They do a lot of other stuff too, but I had them come down and they looked at the main behind the bar from McPherson Street, and it goes about just barely past the locker, right in there somewhere at 90s and goes into his building. We found, someone texted us or called us and said that there was a potential leak, so we went and looked at it. And when we backed up the hole, it wasn't quite a simple fix. We've got 3 taps that are right there. Now I could just, dig back 2 or 3 feet, cut it, dig back 2 or 3 feet, cut it, put a pipe in, use some expensive fittings, tap it, connect all the services back. But after looking at it, it's a steel line. I would like to just try to, if we can, whenever we get to those, I would like to try to replace those as we go on. One, to help with the lead and copper. Two, to just really just get that stuff out of here. So I'm fine with doing the work, I'm fine with digging it. It's gonna be a mess. I've got a lot of semis that drive back there 2-3 times a week, if not more, I don't know. So I looked at this company and they said that they could shoot a 2-inch bore back there. So basically all we would have to do is dig wherever we're gonna tap for the service lines. So them to, that $6,070 is not them just to shoot a bore and pull a pipe through. That does include a little bit of, there's notes down below. It says that the city of Canton will replace the asphalt at the south end. So on McPherson Street, where the main comes from Second and goes up the alley, we'll have to dig a hole right there so we can tie the main back together. They said that they would go ahead and remove that if we wanted. I told them, I said, we have a backhoe, we have a bag trailer, we can do a lot of this stuff. So he went ahead and just put in everything kind of for them to do it, but we're going to be there helping do it. And I would assume that if we spend a lot of our time up there backing stuff out, doing some extra stuff, that price should go down. That's kind of like a last resort price. The materials is about $3,300 to do the main, the taps, and everything like that. But just in case something else happens, I'd really like to see, I would like to do $9,800. It comes out to be $9,370, but I'm asking for a few hundred more dollars just for unexpected.
And this is replacing how many feet of water line?
It'd be 225 feet.
Like the whole alleyway.
Mhm.
Is that the whole, or we can't quite go there because you get into, you gotta do engineering because they're changing material and all that stuff, or are we?
Is that the what?
Are we changing the entire main, the length of the alley?
No, right now it's like 225 feet. We're gonna replace 225 feet.
Okay. How short of the whole alley is that?
Probably about 75, 80 feet.
Okay. And the reason we can't do the whole alley is because you get into engineering.
There's no reason to do the whole alley.
Okay.
Because the locker is the end of the line.
Okay. And this is the taps that go back to the buildings as well, so.
We'll be able to replace the bar service completely.
Okay.
The locker service we won't be able to just because it goes underneath their concrete into their building.
Okay.
And then I was gonna kind of talk with them when they come, because I think we should be able to pull back Ag 360s underneath the concrete there.
Okay.
Just finger it together and pull it through. And then the dog place, I thought about just backing that out and just laying a new line in for that.
Will that satisfy our lead and copper requirements? Okay. Because that's gonna hit us sooner or later, we're gonna have to do all this stuff anyway.
So I'll be honest with you, Lawson, this bid is for $6,070.
Mhm.
You wanted $9,800.
Mhm,
That
'cause I got-
of your extra,
Material.
So the 6,070 is for them to come shoot the bore and help dig the street and the service lines, and they're gonna bring their own back trailer also to pothole all the utilities. They need to do that before they shoot the bore.
And you said 3,300 for materials.
For materials,
Which is then 9,000.
You said he
370.
said, like, he wanted.
370.
9,800.
Do what?
You want a 9,800.
But you're asking for 98, Just in case.
But it could be lower because you guys are gonna help, so it may not cost the 6,000 in some selfless.
I hope so.
Yeah.
It was just really quick.
Yeah.
I was just there time on that. So you're looking for approval for 90 days for this particular job. Questions, comments?
It'll be getting worse.
No, it's really not. I've been stressing about it, but it hasn't been getting worse.
It's Sunday.
Right, now
Go with it, done.
How long will this take? Is this day in, day out, or? I mean, you were talking about the.
I would
semis
say
and stuff.
no more than 2 days.
As long as we let all.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little difficult making every single person happy because everyone said a different day. I have talked to a few of the people over there. One person wants this, but this person says, no, don't do that day.
So what are we gonna call this project?
Well, how about the project Waterline Alley midway between Main Street and Second? As he
East
listed
Main
it.
Alley?
That's what he said right here, that's what the project name is.
Okay.
Waterline alley. Yeah.
I'm just reading the black things there.
So I'll make a motion to allocate $9,800 for the Waterline alleyway between Main and Second.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, and then, everyone knows that the pool is taking some of our time to get it up and going and replacing the filters and the guard stands and a little bit of just everything, it feels like. We also have had the mayor come out these last few days. Tomorrow, we do still have a little bit. Everyone's paper did say the 9th through the 11th, but they got backed up in Galva because of the rain, so it took them an extra day to get here. Morgan did make a post on Facebook, and we highlighted the area where there's still going to be a sewer work done tomorrow. They should be done tomorrow. I know someone was asking because all their equipment's parked over across the church, and they've got their shindig this weekend, so they didn't want all that stuff over there. And then, I mean, it's been kind of a crazy month, just trying to coordinate with everything. We got some land agreements back for the water well drilling, pest hole drilling. I called the one guy today and I didn't get a response back, so hopefully I'll try him again tomorrow and get some more answers. Really, other than that, I think,
It's been rescheduled for every month.
I wouldn't call it rescheduled, but our geologist said July 20th is his next projected
Okay.
drill time.
Okay.
I think that's it. I think our biggest thing, and it's not really a code, but it kind of helps everyone, that if we can try to blow all of our grass clippings into your yard and not into the street, I think that would help a few things. One, drainage that everyone's worried about. Trying to think if there's anything else specifically that's important. I don't think so. I think that's pretty much it.
Council, Scott?
You also received an email with the amendment, animal control codes. We'd like to look at them, make notes, changes, questions, whatever, and so that we can adopt these things for our animal control code. We're gonna start taking these entire sections of the red book and revamping the entire section in all, instead of going in and changing one line and then going, oh, up here it says this. So we'll make the changes, replace the whole section, and move forward. Christina, you had, we were gonna do talk about a work session.
Yeah, we did talk about a work session.
We do want this, we want to have this thing in place to put it in our ordinances next council.
And we
And
talked
when we
about,
get this done, we'll take another session.
How does that align with the stuff we approved for our ordinances to be digitalized and all?
I just send them the update
Yeah.
and let them know we've changed them.
So have they
this
already
one-
done that, or they're in the
It-
process?
It's a
of-
process. It's
Yeah.
like 6 to 9 months.
Okay.
and,
Well, I just like to say on some of that, sorry, Christina.
well, let's,
Frankie.
not like that, we need to review it, make our notes, we'll have a work session, discuss it, edit it.
Yeah, I want everybody to know.
Yeah, and so to adapt and change, the one that is in the email, I will say, because we've talked about it. I don't know if you, I didn't remember you mentioning it. It is also one that Rains has put together, which is the company that we're using, and it is for another city.
Right.
So, it's not something that we just pulled out of the air. It's something that we need to look at and see how it fits our community and make those adjustments so that we can get it in there, especially with the changes and the dumping and things like that. It gives our code enforcer a leg to stand on and different things we feel we need to adjust to our community. So really, what we were looking at is the week of the 22nd for a work session. Because the following, that's going to be the 4th of July week, and I know there's a lot going on with it being the 250th. So that leaves the 23rd, 24th, and 25th. Because there is a meeting with the 250 on Monday that you all need to be to. So.
What's that date?
So 23rd, 24th, or 25th, any of those days not work for you guys.
23rd will work for me. I just got lots of logins I've been really watching. I don't get to get them known for 23rd, Tuesday.
23rd is the Tuesday of June. Is it 6:30 work for everyone?
Yeah.
So we'll make the work session for animal control.
And any other.
Yeah, and any other things we want to throw in. And I think we can get through a lot easier if we have a couple.
Yeah.
Read it through that.
And if you want a printed copy, I'll have to.
I think that was. What was it, right, so. I think we're good.
I guess all I wanted to say is that, and I know we're gonna discuss this, but, so I'll just wait for this meeting
On the workshop.
on the workshop.
Discuss and discuss session.
There you go.
I don't have anything tonight.
So other than working, we can do this.
Yeah.
Be here tomorrow.
Yes, I'll be there tomorrow.
I've got a couple things. I received a call today from a realtor company, and I'm sorry, I don't remember where they're from, the name, but they have a farm ground land auction that's coming up, and they wanted to know if they could rent the community building for that. But I told them I would have to get approval because it's a profitable, you know,
We'll change that. It's for profit.
yeah. It would be the weekend of the county fair, just that Saturday, I think, eventually Friday, Saturday. They would use the building, set it up and do it on Saturday. I did tell them that it's the county fair in town. She relayed that information back and they did not have a problem with that. So they still want to use the space. Is that the week? I thought it said, 17th. Yeah, Friday, Saturday is what they were wanting, but I told her I would have to have it approved.
They're wanting the building auction?
Yeah, yep, they just need a building with Wi-Fi, and she said, how's the self-service, and I said, good by the window. So, she said they would be taking live bids from phone and internet, but it would also be open to the public to come. It's a park ground auction. Yeah, she said it was northeast of town.
But we just have to make an amendment to our current agreement.
So we're not profit only,
Um,
we're not profit only.
yeah,
We're not making it right.
no, but we don't let people come in and
Use it for profit.
So
We had to make an
Yeah.
amendment.
Garage
when they
sales,
had to,
Yeah.
yeah, on Main Street.
Mhm.
fundraising.
So we just need
The same
a
thing.
motion to amend the current agreement in place
For this one,
for this
time.
party. Is what I would do.
I'll make a motion to amend the current agreement to allow a live auction for farmland on the 17th.
All those in favor? Opposed?
Yes. I received a follow-up email. I thought we had discussed this. I tried to look back in minutes in email and I couldn't find anything, so maybe we haven't. I received an email from the McPherson County Community Foundation, and maybe they just had good timing, maybe it was coincidence, but they would like to sign with the city a memorandum of understanding, and it is a disaster preparedness. So they said they recently signed with Inman, Lindsberg, and Mountridge, in addition to the existing agreement with the city of McPherson and their involvement with the McPherson County Emergency Preparedness Committee. They emailed me just a sample copy, so this isn't something we would necessarily sign this paper tonight. I could be wrong. We could approve it to go into this, and then you could send us an amended one.
Or they could just send a draft and you can actually approve it.
Okay.
Did you email us?
No, I think he just emailed me this morning or yesterday morning. I don't know, my days kind of linked together, but it was recent.
You're just about that.
This
I mean,
morning. Let's see.
This is just time for other communities, or is this a service that we're paying
This is
for?
a service from the county. I think it's something, yeah, it's, they distribute funds to victims, directed by the city. So, you know, if somebody's house burned down, or if there was a tornado or something like that, they can assist us with those
And what does
services.
this cost?
Yeah, do we have any cost to the city?
I don't think that there's a cost.
That's.
Yeah,
That's what it would cost.
are we signing with the ten-year contract?
There's nothing listed in the initial part. It says the foundation shall be permitted to charge the fund for its direct attributable costs, such as processing fee for online donations and
They carry
material.
funds that are,
The foundation, the McPherson County Community Foundation does have a fund as a county.
is there any way we can all
Sometimes
get a
there's
copy of that to read it?
expectation of donation when you sign a memorandum.
I
to
just,
become
it's
part
too
of
soon.
it.
I have zero information in front of me.
Right, and he emailed it at
Yeah.
11:16 today,
So,
so I didn't have a
yeah,
lot.
I would, which I get that.
They're crazy,
got
but-
a fund that he's grabbing from or we're funding.
And I can ask him if he wants to, if he's able to come or somebody's able to
Yeah.
talk to us too.
We are having a work session, not that we
I
agree
know
to
that
anything,
he
but-
did email me in the past, and I thought I emailed it out in the council packet or brought it to council meeting, but I couldn't find anything. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we're not gonna sign something that
Right.
talks about funding.
I just wanted to bring it up,
Yeah.
and yeah, if there was,
Okay, next item.
well, if anybody wanted to move forward, I just needed to know, so.
We'd like to know more about it.
Like I said, I'm pretty sure I forwarded the email last time it came around, but that happened several times. I also got a quote from HCI. So last month, I brought up that there's a company called INA Alert that does security camera systems, and council approved, get a free estimate. They couldn't come until next Tuesday, so I don't have their estimate to present to you, but I knew everybody would ask me for additional quotes because it would probably be expensive. So HCI came and gave us their quote. Basically, they would replace all the cameras we currently have, and none of us even knew we had as many as they counted. We could choose to do less if there's an area we needed less, but there's some inside the city office, some outside, the maintenance, 2 buildings, the pool, the burn site, and the city yard, the old ball diamond. There's already cameras there, it would tie in with this, but we wouldn't have to pay anything because we already own it, we already purchased it.
Oh,
What about,
They're
did we
from-
put cameras out at the fairground?
I think that was,
That was not city funded.
that was, it's not city funded, that was the fairground that did that, that's how they were testing the
Yeah.
fees out there.
Yeah.
And I thought the
I-
city helped.
Well, I think Mark asked, but I think that they got the money from somewhere else.
But I could be wrong.
No, you're right, because that was before we were on council. They gave some money towards that, I think.
I'm just saying, I think that's.
Well, I thought we helped,
But
the
you might
city
want-
helped fund it, but I.
So what this will do is tie us into one integrated security system.
Yeah,
where we
right now, if you
monitor-
want to see what happened at the pool yesterday, you have to go to the pool and get on that system and look at that camera.
So how many total cameras did they say we had?
Let me, they might, but it's, no.
Remember how many cameras?
Austin was gone the day they came.
Well, this one was
26?
Remember, it was the latest one, 20-something.
Somebody else on here, I don't know what we're on, but.
Like $10 a camera or something.
I went in where they did turn up DC and
What's that?
28 cameras. The price it does vary. Interior cameras are cheaper than exterior cameras. But they did review the proposal with me. The total is roughly 8,800. However, there's no upcharge on equipment, and there is some sort of grant.
It's like a small
And it's
cities.
a reimbursement fund essentially, so we would pay 8,800 up front, and that is the material at cost and the labor, and then we would be reimbursed the labor 100%. So the total cost at the end would be roughly 5,500. I don't have a quote to compare it to, like I said, those other companies from
Is
next.
that 28, does that include the ones at the park that we wouldn't have to replace?
We don't have to replace those.
Okay, so that's not
It's-
counting
no,
those.
it
And then
doesn't
what's
count that.
the monthly service?
There is no charge.
There's no
We
charge.
monitor it ourselves, we're in control of it, it stores roughly 2 weeks of,
So it's just equipment,
recording.
basically?
Yeah, you just purchase it out, and they come and they install it, teach you how to use it. It can go, I did ask, is it limited to a certain number of users? You know, like if Austin obviously has the park cameras that go to his phone already, but if right now I have access to the office cameras here on my computer system, so if I needed to see the computers, now how many people can you have? And they said there's not a limit. for
Wasn't
users.
there something about possibly having to put in Wi-Fi, like by the pool, to get certain areas or
Yes.
something?
They would have to install internet at the pool, and then there would be a bridge to get that internet service to the city lot and the Burnside. Right now, we have internet here and a bridge to get it to the maintenance shop, so that's how the cameras would also function. But yes, they would have to put internet at the pool, so there probably would be some cost for that. I don't think we're charged a monthly cost for internet service
Are
here.
they gonna fix their phones so they work?
They have fixed all of my outgoing calls. Have you tried recently, Reese, to call? Okay. They fixed all my outgoing calls, so I'm able to call out to every number I dial. Obviously, incoming calls, I don't know if people are not able to get through unless they find another way to communicate with
I would
them.
think that if I wanted to call a spam number, I should have the right to do so. So I don't understand why you're being blocked from incoming calls.
Well, the problem there, though, is HCI can't inspect that unless it is a problem on their side.
Yeah.
So if it drops before the, I don't know the word for it, the connector service, whatever that's called, the routing
So
system.
obviously, if the number was reported as spam, it's in a registry somewhere controlled by someone. Have we tried to reach that registry to have our number removed?
Yeah,
Should be.
it was I want to say AT&T, T-Mobile situation, and yes, Zach spent a lot of time working on that and got that resolved on. We have a customer, a utility customer that has AT&T, and we kind of made a big educate. And he called us a couple of times, and we called him a couple of times.
So we got one call, wait for the other one from I-9.
Yeah, I mean,
They moved, I-9,
so we can compare.
and we compare.
I would go ahead and have HCI give you the amount monthly rate for whatever the internet would be out there. I'm assuming this other company would need to have Wi-Fi connection as well, so, to make it work.
But yeah, it has been a problem trying to get information back from all these DVR. So it was beyond in front of your office or the shop or whatever.
It could go to any mobile device, computer, tablet.
Do you have a DVR here or still?
It has a
Its own
hard drive.
Okay.
You have to pay for the hard drive, so if you want more than 2 weeks recording, you have to pay for a bigger hard drive.
But doesn't it record it like up to so much and then it starts to erase like so?
Yeah, he said it's about 2 weeks.
So
But
one
you
and
can
one.
get bigger hard drives and have longer. And I believe, you could have, like, say at the park, you needed to record longer. You could buy a bigger hard drive just for that, and the other things not be affected, or wherever. There's gonna be
Where you
some
have your
places,
problems.
right, there's some places like the maintenance shop and the city office, those are tied together in one hard drive.
Oh, I get it. You got some characters.
Yes.
That.
I'm gonna guess with the reimbursement, we're gonna have a hard time meeting it, but, and it's a local company or something like that. I don't think I have anything unless anybody needs to mention either of those. That's all I have then.
Are you done?
I accept it.
I wanted to give an update on the July 3rd celebration for the city of Canton. Brenda wanted me to let everybody know that the public has been very receptive to this, and donations are still being taken. We've got quite a bit set aside for fireworks. There's flyers out, if anybody wants a flyer, let me know. There's hamburger hot dog feed at the Airlock Park. Our firefighters are going to be picking those up, but there'll be bounce houses, a lot of other things. So we definitely encourage everybody to come out. I think it starts at 4:30, and there'll be some live entertainment, and it'd be a great time to get together and celebrate 250 years. And then, I think somebody mentioned earlier, had a drilling date started, but we're pushed back now for July 20th. We've been interviewing all week for Erin's position. I have her resignation letter here. Please accept my letter as a formal resignation from my position as full-time deputy city clerk, treasurer with the city of Canton, effective June 30, 2026. Grateful for the opportunities, experience, and support I received during my time here. I have appreciated working with such a great team and value everything I have learned in this role. Thank you again for the opportunity. I wish you and the city continued success in the future. And that's signed Aaron Meyer. And with that being said, Aaron has accumulated an 80-hour pay for vacation. So I just want to get a motion on that.
A motion to pay Aaron her 80 hours of vacation next week.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We hope to make a decision on these applicants sometime next week. If not, Morgan had to miss some of the interviews the other day, so we may go back and do it. And then I have a resignation from David Tripp. I regret to inform you that effective immediately, I am resigning from my elected position as council member for the city of Canton. It's been a learning and eye-opening experience. I wish you the best of luck in your endeavors. I'm David Tripp. And probably next month we'll try to talk something to that.
And anybody who would like to volunteer, please reach out to Rhonda.
I've had
Yeah, that's a thought. And that's all I have, you guys. So I'll just ask for the meeting to be adjourned.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And then just keep in mind your commitment on the 24th at 6:30.
Rhonda, I think you went right over the public forum.
No,
At the beginning
At
of
the
the
beginning.
We did that.
they were talking.
You did?
Yeah.
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 Can I ask a question? How many water bills do we send out in a month?
We have about 350 utility customers. It fluctuates a little, but about 350.
Well, I understand you're taking interviews for another city clerk. I went to Galvin today. They send out 474, and they also send out 474 for electricity and gas. And they do this with 2 people that work, one of them works part-time. They do it with 2 people for 50 hours a week. How many hours a week are you going to give to this new person you're trying to hire?
It would be a 40-hour work week.
I didn't hear you.
40-hour work week.
40?
Yeah.
Why can Galva get it done for 50 hours?
Have you asked them anything else they do besides utility billing? Because that's a sliver of the job.
We do have court that we have to take care of,
A pool.
and the pool.
I believe people ought to go around town and try and figure out if you really need someone.
I don't think you need to go around town. I think you'd have to come to the
I'm talking. Don't interrupt me, girl.
Okay, our meeting is adjourned.
Yeah,
This meeting's adjourned.
it is, yeah.
We're willing to listen as long as you're respectful.
We got no need for another person.
Roger, I would also encourage you that next time when you come to the meeting to maybe not be talking so much so that you know when people are